Hey, what's going on, y'all? Lincoln Infield here, and welcome to Is It the Destination or the Ride, which is the Carolinas Full Throttle Magazine video series, where we like to get out and talk to the major players of the motorcycle scene in North and South Carolina. Today, I am out here with Jerry and Brian of the Law Tigers to talk a little bit about their firm and how they like to be part of the motorcycle community here in North Carolina. What's going on, y'all?
Hey man, we're out here at Outer Banks Bike Week. It's kind of raining, people are having a tough time getting in and out today, but I would say start with come on out here and enjoy yourself. We do have a bike show tomorrow.
We do.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, it's like Lincoln said, I'm Jerry Spencer, this is Brian Ritchie. We are the Law Tigers here in North Carolina. Law Tigers, in case you don't know and you haven't seen us out and about, we are motorcycle injury attorneys, and we are North Carolina's motorcycle injury attorneys. All of my attorneys are actually here today. Hopefully you get a chance to meet every one of them. Everybody brings something a little bit different to the table. Everybody's got their strengths. It's really, really cool. There are some I like hanging out with better than others, but we can talk about that later.
It's off camera.
Yeah, right on. But anyway.
Better be me because I'm the boss.
Yes, I absolutely like hanging out with the boss. That is my favorite part. I should tell you some of the things he said to me. But so this is the motorcycle community, right? Like we all ride together, we all do things together, we all see each other at events, we see each other on rides. And we all know that at some point there's a rider that's down and that rider needs assistance. In this particular instance for us, particularly from Brian's side of the house, it is the rider who needs assistance who's been injured and therefore has a case, right? Like for me as the marketing manager, I do a lot of things like I get to spend his money on cool shit. Sorry. On charity and stuff like that. Like I have a whole lot of fun. But the serious work comes from these people that you're going to get to talk to here in just a second. So that aside, Brian?
Yeah, so we're the Law Tiger member for North Carolina. I've got 4 attorneys here with me. All 4 of my attorneys ride and own bikes. I've got Tommy over here who grew up doing some motorcycle racing. I've got Tyler who's been a rider for a long time. Kristen's a new rider. She's new to it, but she's fell in love with motorcycle riding, and she just got her first bike a couple months ago. And I've got Meredith, who's been with the law firm for over 16, 17 years, and she also rides a Harley. And we're here not only to help you if you ever go down, but we're also here as a resource. We want to educate the riding community on what they should be doing as far as proper insurance coverages, what to do if they are in a wreck and they need to get their gear and their bike repaired. So we know how important the bike is to all of our rider clients, and we're here however you need us, whether it's just ask for some advice or if we need to get involved in your case.
That's right. And so the Law Tigers, it's a nationwide group, right? So there's people all over the place, and you guys are specific for North Carolina. So
Correct.
If there's anybody in North Carolina that needs personal injury help, you are the place to call.
Correct.
All
And
right.
that's the beauty of the Law Tiger brand, is that we're national. We have certain law firms in each state that are there to back up the riders, to educate the riding community, and to be there for them if they ever need us. We just happen to be the ones for North Carolina, and we love being a member of the Law Tigers community, because we get to help people and we get to see people all over the country when we're either at events or a rider goes down in another state. We know who to have them call, who's also going to be a rider to take care of them. So it's a great network that we're a part of, and we're happy with it.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest deal, is having that kind of network. So no matter where you are, you can get help from professionals that ride, that know the exact situations that these riders could be in, and that goes a long ways. So definitely appreciate you guys being in charge of that type of stuff.
Yeah, right on. And just a caveat on that. It's like Brian said, it is a nationwide network. But the cool thing is, if you call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or you can go to lawtigers.com, they actually will get you to the right place.
Correct.
It doesn't matter where the accident happens. You call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, and you will get directed to us. Depending on your home record, but it is sorted, it is taken care of, it is squared away. You will not be left out in the cold. You will have an answer, right?
So let's talk directly, Brian. Your law practice. How long have you been practicing law? What got you into practicing law?
So I've been practicing law for 25 years, coming up on 26, and I got into the kind of work that we do, helping injured people and bike riders who are injured. Basically, that's all I've ever done. When I was in law school, I worked for a law firm. They handled car wrecks and truck wrecks, and I fell in love with it. I come from a blue-collar background, and I want to help people that are just like my parents and just like my family put the pieces back together and get their life put back together and not get screwed by insurance companies, because that's what they're out there to do.
Right. And I've heard all these folks say many times that the biggest problem is when somebody goes down and they're looking for an attorney, they don't find somebody that's a motorcycle rider, and that's the beautiful part about the Law Tigers, that we just get somebody that knows what they're talking about in front of them.
And that's why we joined Law Tigers. I've got, I introduced my 4 attorneys who all ride, and we used to sit back and see that some bikers that would go down would be represented by a run-of-the-mill personal injury law firm that doesn't know how to handle getting their gear replaced, doesn't care about their bike, doesn't care about all the modifications they made to their bike to get all those things compensated for, and then to know what exactly goes on with a motorcycle crash. How they do their braking, should they have laid the bike down or not laid the bike down. And these guys were sitting there underset on these cases and not getting justice for these riders, and it really pissed us off, to be frank with you. And because of that, we thought, okay, how can we go in and protect the riding community? So we hooked up with Law Tigers, a bunch of like-minded attorneys in other states that are members. We have a summit every year where all of us get together in Arizona. We bring in accident reconstructionists that just specialize in motorcycle cases. Motorcycle injuries are unique, and motorcycle coverages are unique. And that's what we really want to do, in addition to helping the riders out, is we want to educate them, because their insurance agents are not educating them on the kind of insurance that they need in order to get compensated if, God forbid, their bike goes down.
Right. So beyond even personal injury cases, if they had questions about their insurance, if they had other things that could help them out, pre-wreck, or pre-wreck, I guess that's a bad way to put it, but without having an injury case, you guys would be able to help them out with that as well.
100%. If they want to call us and say, hey, these are our insurance policies that we have on our motor vehicle versus what we have on our motorcycle, what do you think? We're more than happy to give them a free consultation and talk to them about that. We also go out into the community. We go to bike nights, we go to shop talks, and Meredith has gone to a couple women biker events where we want to educate them, because they don't know what underinsured coverage is. In North Carolina, unfortunately, the minimum coverage that anybody has to have is $30,000. Well, if a biker goes down, their emergency room bill alone is going to be $30,000. And if that's all that the individual has that hit them, and they don't have additional coverages, which we want to educate them on, they're going to be. And if that's the case, excuse my language, screwed. If that's the case, then they're not going to get compensated. They might not even get their bike replaced if the coverages are not enough. Right. So that's what we want to educate on. That's the resource we want to be for the riding community. We're going to partner with the riding community at events. We're going to do sponsorships. We're going to support them in every way. It's not the typical personal injury firm where, hey, come hire us, let us take your money, and then we're going to go off and we don't care about the riding community. If we weren't members of Law Tigers, that's why we want to be members, because they're going to take care of the community.
Well, and speaking of which, like you mentioned, all the reps go out to events. They are part of the community. I see Jerry and Tyler set up at different events across the state, and so it's always nice to be able to put faces and names with somebody. It's not just a phone number. It's not just a website. These are riders in your community that can take care of you.
And come and talk to us when we're at the events. I mean, anytime you want to talk to us, it's free. We're going to give you all the advice you need in order to take care of yourself. And if we can't help you, we're going to steer you in the right direction. And that's the thing. That's the beauty about the brand. Jerry will call me and he'll say, I met a biker at this event and he's got this issue. He wasn't hurt, but he's got this issue with his bike on getting it repaired. What should he do? Just call us.
Right.
We're going to walk you through it. We got 4 attorneys here that are going to take care of whatever you need. So just call us. You know, if we can help you, we're going to help you. If you don't need our help, we're going to tell you don't need our help. And if we can't do something for you, we're going to put you in the right direction.
That's all we're asking for. All right, now we're with Meredith, also a Law Tiger. You've been riding for 17 years. How did you get involved with the Law Tigers as an attorney?
Sure. I actually have not been riding for 17 years. I got involved when back in about 2015 we had a former client of ours getting a wreck with a motorcycle. He had to actually lay his bike down, and the insurance company was just giving us a really hard time. Fast forward, we get to, he goes through his treatment. He had extensive treatment. We get to try. We went and tried his case, and just working with him he actually taught me a lot about motorcycles. And I kept thinking the whole time, man, I would be a much better attorney for him if I rode.
All right.
And I've been through, motorcycle safety training and things like that. Because that was one of the big things with him, that, when you walk into a courtroom, there's a lot of folks out there that are like, oh, you can't see a motorcycle. Couldn't see him.
Yeah.
It's always the motorcycle's fault.
Right. Preconceived notions there.
He laid it down. It's his fault.
Right.
So there was a lot of that you have to, as an attorney, you have to deal with when you go in the courtroom. And so for him, he actually educated me. He's like, look, I was a motorcycle cop. I've done the motorcycle safety class. Here's my card. So we used a lot of that stuff with the jury to make sure they understood, he was defensive driving. He did everything he could. Just learning about, the different escape paths that as a rider, you're always out there looking for an escape path. Being able to explain that to a jury of non-riders. It's, we may get one or two riders on every jury if we're lucky.
Right.
So he really kind of propelled me to really want to dig deeper and be a better attorney for riders. And then, a year or so later, we joined Law Tigers, and I was like, all right, I'm in. We did the motorcycle safety class, got a bike. Now I'm on my third bike, so loving it. And I think, we've really built a great team that can go and try cases for our motorcycle clients. I think that's one of the things that is really important when you're looking for an attorney. You want an attorney that's willing to go that extra mile and go all the way to a jury verdict.
Right.
It's not easy. It's not easy to go to court. Most of our clients don't want to and don't like it, but it's our job to tell them, you know what, you're not being treated fairly. This is our justice system. This is the way it works, and we're gonna take you there. We're gonna lead you through that process, and we're gonna work as hard as we can to get you the best result.
So it's not easy to go to court, and why take a chance when you go to court? You need to make sure you have somebody that's a motorcycle attorney on your side. Now let's talk a little bit about insurance. We had a couple tips for us. What do you got
Right.
there?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I think most people out there don't even understand is that in North Carolina, 1 in 8 drivers are uninsured. I don't know exact figures on the amount that are underinsured, but through our practice, I would say probably 75 to 85% of the cases we take, we're going after underinsured coverage.
Right.
And when you come to the events, we've got this little insert in your wallet that you can use for your registration. The insert gives you some recommendations on what kind of insurance to get. The worst conversations I have are with my riders who have done thousands of dollars of modifications and never told their agent. I had one recently where he only had a $3,000 accessory up on his insurance, and he'd done probably $10,000, $15,000.
Oh, $3,000 in
Yeah,
accessories
it's
is nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but your agents probably aren't motorcycle riders, so they're not thinking, hey, I need to tell this guy. They're just like, okay, I got your insurance, you're good.
Right.
See you later. And the other big thing is making sure you've got underinsured coverage. Unfortunately, for motorcycles, if you got a wreck, it's usually not good.
No.
You usually injure pretty badly. And as Brian mentioned earlier, you walk in the hospital these days, $20,000-$30,000, they send you on your way, and you still have to go and continue to get treatment. So, North Carolina minimum policy is $30,000 per person, $60,000 per wreck. That's all they got to pay. Doesn't matter how badly you're injured. And those are honestly the worst conversations that we have to have with riders when they're hit by somebody who has minimum limits, or they're hit and they only have the minimum limits, and if there's uninsured at-fault driver. Those are the worst conversations. Because there's, as I say, can't get blood out of a turnip. And if you got somebody who has no assets and all they got is the 30.
Yep, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting.
Unfortunately.
That's gonna.
I can go get a judgment and get a jury to award us a lot of money, but it's worth that piece of paper. That's about it.
But, because the insurance company could cover it, whereas the individual could not.
But the insurance company's only going to cover what they insure that person
exactly.
for.
Yes, exactly.
So, definitely. So, I would say when you come out to the events, grab one of these, look at our recommendations. They're very good. As Brian said too, I beg Jerry all the time. I'd love to come and talk to a group anywhere I can get to talk to people and make sure they're getting the good coverage. I mean, obviously, if someone's in a wreck, we want them to hire us, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that all these riders out there, as a community, understand what insurance they need to have so that they're protected.
Absolutely. All right, we got Tommy now with the Law Tigers here, and tell us a little about yourself, man. How did you get started motorcycling, working for Law Tigers? What we got?
Yeah, I've been into motorcycles my whole life. My dad's always, he's been more of a street bike rider. My uncle's had a motorcycle racing team, kind of local here in North Carolina. I got my first motorcycle when I was 6. I had a Suzuki JR50. That was my first bike. So I've always been into motorcycles. It was a huge asset when we got into Law Tigers because I already knew the language, I already knew the lingo, and so it was a great assimilation process when we got into it.
Seems like a perfect fit.
Exactly.
All right. Well, now, when motorcyclists get in accidents, it's easy for them to be discriminated against in the courtroom, and that's where you guys kind of come in and help make sure it's an even playing field for the motorcyclists.
For sure, especially North Carolina. North Carolina has something called contributory negligence. We're one of 4 states that have it still. Every other state does. Comparative negligence, where if you're 10% at fault for a wreck, the jury will give you an award, and they will just reduce it. The court will reduce it by 10% by your percentage fault. In North Carolina, if you're 10% at fault, you might as well be 99% at fault. It doesn't matter what fault you have. If you bear any responsibility, your case is barred. And especially with motorcyclists, there's a stigma out there. There's a lot of people who think they can just lobby some monicum at fault against the motorcyclists and try to wiggle their way out of it. Being a rider is a great asset for that. I've had defendants accuse riders of not having their headlights on, and then they're surprised to learn that motorcycles have automatic headlights since the 80s, and so kind of a foot and mouth moment.
Well, it's common knowledge for a motorcyclist to know these things, whereas a non-motorcycle attorney may have that slide right by them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that we as North Carolina Law Tigers may even do different than other Law Tigers in other states. Even if somebody calls me and they say, "Oh, I'm clearly not at fault, the other person got a ticket," I still want to go get witness statements. I still want to see if there's any camera footage of the wreck, because sometime down the line they can change their mind and say, "Oh, now we think you bear some responsibility, and we're not paying for your case anymore."
Now we got Tyler Stiles here, also a Law Tiger in North Carolina. You've been riding for quite a while.
Yeah, sort of a new addition to the Law Tigers team, but I've been out here for probably the last 5-6 years doing motorcycle events, riding, representing riders. Unfortunately, I've actually been through the process. I'm currently going through the process on the client side. I was involved in a wreck back in December. You came to see me in the hospital. So
I did.
Yeah, currently going through that. So like Meredith was saying, just coming out of the hospital, I had a $50,000 bill. So if there weren't underinsurance involved here, all of my treatment, all my time out of work, everything would be coming out of my own pocket. So that's why it's extremely important to have those coverages and understand those coverages. We don't expect you to be an insurance expert. That's what we're here for. Give us a call. We'll run through what you've got, what you need. If you're already adequately covered, we'll let you know that too. That's part of what we're here for.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've sent my declarations page to you and got personal recommendations there. So
Very timely.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it was.
absolutely.
Yes, it's so. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Kristen from the North Carolina Law Tigers office. Tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, I'm Kristen Oakley. As Brian said, I am the newest member of the Law Tigers at our firm. I did grow up around bikes. My aunt and uncle rode bikes. I had a bunch of friends whose parents rode bikes, and I always rode with them. And as Brian mentioned, I actually got my first bike a couple months ago. I took the motorcycle safety course, and then my aunt gave me her bike for me to ride. So that was pretty special for me. So
Awesome. What's the bike?
it's a Honda Shadow.
Nice.
Jerry and I were actually looking at Honda Rebels
And Shadows.
and Shadows,
Yeah.
and I was talking with my aunt, and she said, I would like for you to have my bike. It would mean so much to me to give it to you. So that was what she did.
I rode 2 Shadows. So nice bikes, good way to get going.
That's what she said. She said it would be a great first bike. So
Right on. So you're part of the North Carolina Law Tigers team and also helpful at the office. If you need anything, you can always call and ask for Kristen as well.
yes.
All right. All right, so we've met the North Carolina Law Tigers team. If you need anything from them, you can feel free to call and get a hold of them anyway, or you can come see them at events.
Yeah, right on. So, and that's a big thing. So you can always call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, right? And you can always reach out to us. The other option is you can actually call me. It's 252-375-9124. If it's not necessarily related to the legal side of it, but you want some help with events, I mean, we really are about supporting this community. So events, charity rides, advice, help connecting people. Like one of my great resources is actually Lincoln. When I need help with something and I need somebody a part, for heaven's sake. Like we are really here. Like we are part of this. We'll run down parts, I just got done running down the transmission pin for a daggone flathead, okay? Like anything you need, from the legal side of the house, to the charity side of the house, to the event side of the house, we are bikers, we are here for y'all. And that's the deal. So as we wrap this up, we really appreciate Full Throttle coming out here and hanging out with us in the rain. It's been a great day. We still got a couple days more to go. But if you need an attorney, make it a Law Tiger.